Dear students, welcome to my channel. Today is my first online lecture with BS students, and in the class physically we have done a lot of topics before, and our previous topic was adjectives, but the topic which we are going to start today, that is adverbs. And let's discuss what is its main role and where and when and why you can use this part of speech. So in the parts of speech, adverb plays an important role. Let us see what is that role. So before starting to know about adverb, it is more important to know that what is a verb. So all of you must know that verb is a word in a sentence, which is an action, which is a work that is being performed. Verb is basically an action or the main idea of the sentence. So adverb would be a word which will tell something about the main verb. Like it will define the quality of action which is being performed in a sentence, that how an action is performed, when an action is performed, and where an action is performed. It can tell you about the place of action, the manner of action, and also the time of action. So anything, any word that would be telling you about something about how action is performed, that would be called adverb. So basically the most adverbs tell you how, where, or when something is done. In other words, they describe the manner, place of time, or of an action. That is why sometimes we call some words adverb of time. Few adverbs are called adverbs of manner, and such words are, there are certain adverbs which are also called adverbs of place, adverbs of time, and adverbs of manner, right? So we will categorize them according to their function in a sentence relating to the place of verb. So let's see how we can form adverbs. There are some adjectives, there will be some words which will seem that these are adjectives, but actually from those adjectives that we have discussed in the previous class, from adjectives we can make adverbs by adding ly. You can see kind is an adjective. Normally we use kind, he's a kind man, she's a kind woman. But when we want to make it an adverb, so we will add ly, kindly. So most adverbs have ly ending. Okay, so when we say he's a kind man, so kind would be adjective because adjective defines the noun. It tells you about the quality of a noun, that how is a noun. But when we will add ly, when we will be using a word kindly, so we would say he gave me an advice very kindly, or he speaks very kindly. So when we say he speaks very kindly, so now the word kindly is not defining the main noun, it is defining the action, that how does he speak. So the kindly, the happily, wonderfully, loudly, sadly, he said sadly. So when we say he said sadly, so sadly will be defining the action said, that how he said kindly. तो जो आपका ly adverb होता है, जो आपका main adverb होता है, that always defines your action. All right, I hope it's quite clear. Let's move towards the next slide. Many adverbs end with ly. You make these adverbs by adding ly to adjectives, as we have discussed, but some words that end in ly are not adverbs always. Some adjectives end in ly too. There are some exceptions. Not always adverbs will end in ly. There are certain adjectives, कुछ ऐसे adjectives होते हैं which also may end into ly. Sam was feeling very lonely, but there are exceptions. They're very rare. Mostly adverbs are ending with ly, but there are certain words which are not adverbs, which are adjectives, like, but you can sense according to their function in a sentence. So semantic meaning is very important, that how that word is being used in a sentence. So Sam was feeling very lonely. Here lonely is not adverb because here lonely is used for Sam. Okay, so he's lonely. She was wearing a lovely dress. Lovely here is not defining wearing. Lovely is attributing towards dress, वो dress की तरफ इशारा कर रहा है. It was a very lively party. So you can see there are certain words which are not defining nouns, they are defining adverbs. There are certain kinds of adverbs, as I have discussed in the previous slides. There are adverbs of manner, which tell you that how some action is done, how well or how bad some action is performed. Then there are place of action, that where, कुछ ऐसे adverbs होते हैं which tell you about where some action is performed. Okay. Then there are some adverbs which tell you about the time, that when some action has been done. Frequency, it tells you that how many times, how frequent some action is performed. Purpose and reasons, adverb of purpose and reason, that tells you about the reason of some action, that why some action has been done. Then there are adverbs of degree or quantity, that it tells you about to what extent, how much, kitna zyada some action is performed. Affirmation or negation, it tells you if it is yes and no if it is no. Okay, that we will discuss later. So adverbs of place, as I have discussed, it tells you, it gives you the answer of where. When we say the boys are playing upstairs, upstairs means the place. So that tells you where are they playing. The dog is in the garden. In the garden is an adverb which tells you about the location of the dog. Okay. We are going to New York City on our school trip. That tells you where are we going. So New York City is the adverb of place. It's very sunny but cold outside. So outside tells you that where is cold exactly. So such words, such adverbs are specifically defining the place of action. So that's why we call them adverbs of place. Here are some more examples, and I would suggest you to write few sentences and show me of different kinds of adverbs. Adverbs of manner. What is a manner? Manner is the way to do something. Okay, that how, when we talk about adverbs of manner, it means how some action is performed, that in what way it is performed. When we say he was driving carelessly, so it tells you that how was he driving. The plane landed safely. Ramu plays guitar skillfully. So these are the words that tell you whether action is performed in a good way or a bad way. Like it tells you about the quality of a noun, that how, it tells you the answer of how some action is performed. Some more examples. They washed carefully. The flower was beautifully made up. She seemed faintly. The team played wonderfully. Adverb of manners. Then adverbs of frequency. Frequency means how frequent, कितनी बार, how often an action is done, कितनी बार कोई action किया जाता है. So they are called adverbs of frequency. The children always go to school on the bus. Always is the adverb of frequency here, that they always regularly go to school. I will never make that mistake again. So never tells you that never ever. So it also focuses on how often it will be done in future. Dad polishes his shoes twice a week. So these words tell you about that how many times or how often an action will be performed. That's why we call them adverbs of frequency. Adverbs of time, as from the very name we can see that they can tell you about time, that at what time some action is performed, when an action is performed, right? So the train has already left. We moved into the new house last week. 6 o'clock tomorrow. So it is a very obvious thing that they tell you about the time. Adverbs of quantity or degree, that how much some action is performed, to what extent some action is performed. He was too careless. To what extent he was careless? He was too much careless. So the sea is very stormy. So it also tells you about the degree of being stormy. I'm rather busy. I'm fully prepared. How much prepared you are? I'm fully prepared. That tells you the extent of some action, कि किस हद तक कोई काम किया जा रहा है. So there are some more examples. Adverbs of reason, they tell you about the reason, that hence, therefore, इसलिए, that's why Such words which makes a connection, which tells you the reason, like he is hence unable to refute the guard. That's why, therefore, such words are called adverbs of reason. These adverbs are not very common, but let's discuss adverbs of affirmation or and of negation, which says yes if it is yes and no if it is no. Examples: I don't know, surely you are mistaken, he certainly went. Isme certainly, surely is mainly the adverbs of affirmation or negation, in which you want to answer in yes or no. They are not very common, so they are not very relevant to you people, but I thought it would be better to have little knowledge of everything. Here are now some adverbs that you will identify that what is their kind. So I think that's enough for today's lecture on adverbs. Today I thought that I would bring your lecture in this form, and I have not consulted your book for this lecture, but tomorrow we will see how your book explains this topic, because I wanted to make this lecture a bit simple. So now you can find, I will share this lecture with you, this slide share, and you will see the examples and you will make more sentences like this. So see you tomorrow. Till then, take care. Allah Hafiz.